Culturally, we're so confused of who we are. Our identities are easily molded, easily moved, easily manipulated. And doesn't that just sound perfect for a nation that is under the control and guided by this type of technocracy, this corporate power that is based on moving bodies, controlling populations to fulfill age-old plans. So, of course, if your only plan is to move bodies, to move populations in a specific direction, to reach an outcome, the only way to achieve that is to control those populations. And what better way to control populations than to control or real-time create their culture? And I would say that our culture has been developing over generations, but it's been steered and it's been controlled. Moreover, the American culture is not so much white, not so much black, as much as it is a media and consumerist culture. Society is very much a secular humanist arrangement, a lot more than it is a Christian type of collective. Christianity, in its true sense, has left this country a long time ago. And now we've gotten this new age enlightenment type of secular humanist and mainly a scientism type of based culture, right? So how do we know this? How can we just say this? What evidence do we have to prove that? Well, all you have to do is look at the media. Look at what is being taught in the schools. Look at the education system. We understand the education system is pretty much an entity, so it's fully controlled. Curriculum and so forth is fully controlled, and we see this postmodern type of education system that is being released onto society. Our culture is merely a reaction, not only to socioeconomic and historical things, but also the steered media, these steered industries that are controlled. They pretty much create culture by whatever they release. Whatever is put into the public popularly will become a part of the culture. Just by default, this is conditioning, operant conditioning actually. We can look into the work of B.F. Skinner to get a better understanding of this. Humans can be programmed. And interestingly, when you look at the early stages of America, especially in the medical industry and in the sciences, we were specifically focusing on human behavior more than anything else. The Tavistock Institute is a great example of this. When you look at these things, some of the earliest scientific work was based in human behavior. Why were we so concerned with how humans behave? Well, we were concerned because we wanted to control that behavior. We wanted to predict that behavior. Why? Because America has always been set in a direction. It's not this organic country that's just been sprouting and blossoming and developing into something great and beautiful. No, it's a means to an end. It's willful ignorance to hold on to these things as some type of defining aspect of identity. It's foolish. It's foolishness, absolute foolishness, and any believer would know that. Hence the attack on believers, the attack on morality, the attack on Christianity. Generation after generation, we are being convinced that all we need to do is do what feels good, do what's best for us, consume, and have as much fun. You know, the pleasure principle. Timothy Leary used to talk about this all the time. In fact, in one of my videos, I have a clip of him stating from his mouth, yeah, we have sold the American people the idea of the pleasure principle. People care more about pleasure than anything else, and we love it. And that's been the goal. We are now creating our identities through social media platforms. Not only creating them, but falsifying who we truly are, because we are interested in a reaction. We are interested in attention. We are interested in approval. We see this mainly with things like Instagram, which create a false reality for those that spend a lot of time scrolling through an endless feed of people who really don't exist. Now, what do I mean by that? What they're showing you doesn't really exist. People curate their identities by creating a false sense of being, showing you what they want you to see. Okay, endless happiness, endless, I have this, I have that, look how great my life is. And of course, we see the depression and anxiety results of that for people. When they see that, it brings them down. We know that, but what's more important is the idea that culture is being changed through these types of platforms. Now, being a good person doesn't matter anymore. Our culture is based on this type of reaction to media, and it's usually focused on either economic gain, which we see through crony capitalism. Okay, so our culture is kind of founded in this economic gain focus, this greed, this culture of greed, get more. Quality of life, standard of living is based on acquisition. Okay, what you can acquire, what you can collect. Your things make your value. This is a very surface level type of culture where we define ourselves through our things. We define our identity through what we own, what we wear, how we appear, and how people think of us. So what happens then is we create this culture of inauthenticity. Culture technically comes through generational development, traditions passed down, belief systems, worldviews, and ethnic groups, tribalism, things like this. American culture is a reactionary culture, and that's what's interesting. It's not based in any true organic development. American culture, in a sense, has been made. It's been shaped and controlled from the beginning. You control culture, you control the world. Now we've been fed this idea of you control the banks, you control the world. Okay, to some extent, this statement is very true in many areas. Okay, we're not denying that at all. But what I believe, based on my studies, controlling culture is a lot more powerful. Okay, because the culture of a human being, the culture of a person, is what roots their identity. It's what roots their value system. And before, as we discussed, your identity and your value system is what creates the actions that you take in life. So if I can design your culture, I can design your identity. Therefore, I can predict and manage not only your perception, but your actions. That is very dangerous when you think about so-called freedom or liberation, as they like to sell us. They sell us this idea of us being free as Americans, the free country, the free world. I believe this is all a big lie. The American dream, no. Well, yeah, maybe it is a dream because it's not real.